Hey, welcome to this edition of our Investor Fuse member case studies. We profile some of our most successful customers, document how they went from doing no deals to doing a lot of deals, and how they're using Investor Fuse to help manage all of their operations. We're interviewing Nick Perry, who is based out of Austin, Texas, and Nick is a great dude. He's got an awesome story. He used to be a personal trainer just 3 years ago. It took him 11 months to do his first deal. And since his first deal, he's grown a team of 6, and he's consistently doing 6-figure months just wholesaling. And a lot of his deals are actually coming from the follow-up sequences inside of Investor Fuse that are following up with his leads automatically on his behalf. And he says he gets 1 to 2 appointments per week just from the follow-up sequences alone. So that's super powerful. We're really happy that Nick's found so much success. And you're going to learn about some of the things that he's doing right now, marketing-wise, how he's hired his team, and some just really cool little insider tips and tricks to help you guys out, whether you're using Investor Fuse or not. I think this will be a really valuable interview. So enjoy, and email info@investorfuse.com if you ever have any questions. Thanks.
Well, if I take you back to the beginning, I started about 3 years ago. And I just moved to Austin from Virginia. I'm actually Northern Virginia, kind of close to where you guys are. And came down here, had like $7,000 to my name. So, spent $2,000 of that moving into my place. And it's like, all right, I got to hit the ground running. And what do I want to do? I said, I can make money here in Austin. I can do technology. I can do real estate. And I chose to go into real estate. So I didn't want to become an agent. And I knew that investing was a great way to, build up some money. And I inundated myself with YouTube videos, watched YouTube videos till basically nauseum. And once I got enough information, I started sending out marketing. Basically, spent all my money that I had on marketing. And I went on some appointments, but I didn't really have any deals to show for it. So it was a really tough time. I had to get real with myself, and I was like, all right, you know what? In order to keep this dream alive, I've got to get some income coming in. So I went out and I got an inside sales job. I was working at Indeed.com, and they're headquartered here in Austin. And so I was banging the phones 9 to 5, and then from 5 until whenever I fell asleep, I was working on my business. Back then I was handwriting letters, licking the envelopes, sending them out. And that carried on for a while, and got my first my first deal from a seller that called me from months and months ago. And they said, hey, we're ready to move forward. And I made $12,000 on that deal. It was like a vacant probate house. The house was like falling down. I don't even know how anybody paid what they did for it, but we ended up making $12,000, and I just reinvested that right back into my business, and was able to get a couple more deals from that, and then just kind of picked up from there. So,
So it took you roughly 11 months from learning the business to closing your first deal.
Correct. Yep.
What were some of the other impediments that you think kept you from getting that first deal done in, say, 3 months?
Well, obviously funds. I didn't have the funds available to be able to put out as much marketing as I wanted. I was doing all the letters myself. Additionally, not having the knowledge to be able to convert prospects when I had them on the phone. Like, I was saying dumb stuff that was killing my deals. I didn't know how to evaluate deals properly.
Yep.
And so all that played into account why, I was spending all this time and energy and not getting anything in return. So those were probably the 2 biggest things that impeded me from getting my first deal done.
Was it just you during that time period as well? Or did you have a team?
No, it was just me for the first year to 16 months. It was all me.
Okay. Damn. A lot of other people in that situation, man, it's all them, and they're doing that ground level hustle work to try to get that first deal done. So in your case, it just came from follow-up?
Yeah, it just really came from just not giving up, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's so easy to, just spend a bunch of money and then be like, oh, this doesn't work. But you have to know deep down, this does work. You've watched other people be successful with it, and you have to put in the time, pay your dues, and not give up on what you set out to do. So as much as I kept getting punched in the face, knocked down, I just kept getting back up and getting back up. And, eventually I was able to get some traction and get to where I'm at now.
Hell yeah. That's it, man. People are clawing for that traction. When you say, paying your dues, what do you think most investors mean when they say that? Like, what does that first year look like where you are paying your dues? Is it like specifically the task that you're performing every day? Like, what are the dues that'll give you the actual most bang for your buck, so to speak?
Yeah, I mean, definitely in the beginning, it's going to be a lot of time, right? Especially if you don't have a ton of money to invest in marketing. You're going to be sitting at your kitchen table, handwriting letters or, cold calling people. It's just a lot of manual stuff that you have to do in order to get in front of sellers to be able to convert those people into appointments and deals. So sweat equity, I mean, you don't really know what you're doing up front either. So you also have to be continually learning. It's as much of a learning process as it is a doing process.
Yeah. Did you have that like systems mindset when you first started, or were you just all about just like getting that first deal, talking to sellers, getting leads? What was your entrepreneurial thinking at that time?
No, I mean, I got into this to make a lot of money. It wasn't just to do my first deal.
Yeah.
It was because I wanted to have, the freedom lifestyle to be able to, have a good life for myself. And, when I have a family one day, not have to worry about finances and things like that. So that was my motivation from day one. And I knew from the very beginning that I had to have systems and a team in place, but I didn't know up from down at that point. So I was still trying to understand, what are the best systems? How do I implement these? How do I get the correct people on my team? And Kent Clothier was a huge person that helped me, see through a lot of the static out there. There's a lot of noise from a lot of different, areas in this business, and it's hard not to get shiny object syndrome sometimes. So he helped kind of cut through some of that fog.
Yeah, Kent knows how to cut to the chase for sure, which is just a great skill to have, especially in this market right now where everybody's overwhelmed by stuff. So what is your background? Like, what did you do before? What did you study in school?
So I went to school to be a personal trainer. I was going to go to a 4-year college to do that. And my mom said, there's no way I'm paying, $80,000 tuition so you can become a personal trainer. So I went to a personal training school and came out of that. I did in-home personal training and, went to people's house. I worked at Lifetime Fitness,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a sick gym.
Yeah. So I got, pretty burnout on that because I was working, 60, 70 hours a week, making 60 grand a year. And I was like, I just got to make more money. So that's really when my wheels started turning to, what's going to make me a lot of money and where can I get scale? And that was when I, started thinking about real estate.
Do you have family members or something that kind of got you on the real estate tip, or how did you find out about it?
No, I just knew that, just from personal training, I would train wealthy clients all the time. And a lot of the wealthy clients that I would train, they were in real estate. And so I would probe around and ask them questions here or there. And so I kind of got some tips like, this is what I'm doing with real estate. And so I just self-educated myself and started getting online and absorbing information. But I think from listening to wealthy people that I was training, that kind of put the bug in me that real estate was probably a good way to go. Yeah,
it was very similar for me because I see successful and wealthy people as just people, right? Like they just did that. There's no reason at all that I don't have the capacity to also execute on what they did and have the same result. I wish more people had that mindset, because it would help them brave that initial leap of faith. These other guys did it, therefore there's no way I can't not do this.
Absolutely.
But that's awesome. So from personal trainer to real estate mogul. So did you start with a coaching program, or was your coaching program just YouTube videos?
Yeah, I basically went to YouTube University first. I wish I would have went and got a coach from the very beginning. It would have saved me a lot of money, and it would have saved me a lot of frustration and time. That was probably my biggest regret, is not getting a coach soon enough. I didn't really start getting significant traction until I did get a coach. I went through the Flip to Freedom Academy, and then went ahead and signed up for the boardroom, and that really helped be a big catalyst in my business, was getting in front of those guys.
Now we can sort of start talking about like what you did to scale, because a lot of Investor Fuse customers that are going to be listening to this, they're at that scale point, right? They've already figured out the business. They've got the motivation. They've got the belief that this business can scale. So now it's just figuring out how to scale without you as like the time bottleneck. And like, that's a learning experience right there, because that's where you can really work your entrepreneurial muscle to figure out how you can turn this operation of like getting a lead to getting it under contract to flipping it to like updating your website and all that, to build like a machine around that, and then just like manage or look down on that machine and move pieces around. Where are you right now on that, like on that systems process, and how did you kind of get into that, like starting from one deal? How did you strategically decide, how did you strategically scale from that point?
Yeah, I was working 9 to 5, so I had to be very systems oriented to be as efficient with my time as possible. So as soon as I had enough money to get a leads manager, I did. And that was a critical part of my business. I use IDIS. They do a fantastic job at answering the phones, talking to sellers, building rapport, booking appointments for us, putting all that into an Investor Fuse. They do a great job with that. And that was my first strategic hire that helped give me a lot of my time back. I was missing calls. I wasn't following up with people properly, and that really helped. And then additionally, I was using Podio, but I was trying to do all my integrations by myself. I was actually watching your YouTube videos and trying to copy you. And then I was like, you know what? Dan's just way better than me. I'm just buying Investor Fuse. So I went ahead and got that, and that's been a game changer as well.
So before that, though, so you were doing all your marketing. It was just you, and you had a 9 to 5. This was after you closed your first deal. And so you were answering all the calls, or were you letting them go to voicemail? Or
at that time, I was answering when I could. So, if I had a little bit of flexibility in my job, if I needed to pop into a conference room and take a seller call, but it was getting too much. I was really kind of skating on thin ice with that. So I knew I had to hire a leads manager. And, outside of that, I would have to let it go to voicemail, or I'd have to call them, when I had a break or after work. And that just wasn't cutting it. I knew I was losing revenue because of that.
Exactly. It's like you're not only losing the opportunity cost of closing those deals, like getting back to them within the first 5 minutes. You probably hear me talk about it all the time, how crucial it is to respond to leads within the first 5 minutes and to call them at least 6 or 7 times if you can't get a hold of them. Like, how far off were you at that point from like quitting your job?
I was still probably about a year out. The next strategic hire I made was my acquisitions manager. So, all my time spent was working, and then after work, I'd be going to appointments or doing something related to leads management. My weekends were dedicated to driving wherever I needed to drive to go on seller appointments. So I knew I had to leverage my time back and get an acquisitions manager. One of my closest friends, he really wanted to get into real estate as well. His name's Logan. So I went ahead and brought him on, and he's been incredible. So when I brought him on, I I was able to have him run appointments during the day when I was at work and also on the weekends. So he's still out there. I mean, he's out there today, locking some deals down. So,
dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's crazy when people see that it's working. You can attract a lot of, really awesome talent. Some people might be friends. Do you have any advice, though, for people that might consider hiring like a family member or a friend? Anything they should tread lightly on that, or because I know it can get messy.
Yeah, don't hire a girlfriend or a spouse.
Yeah.
I did that, and then when I wanted to break up with her, she tried to take the business and common law me. So don't do that. That was expensive. Don't do that.
God.
Yeah, that was pretty brutal. So if you're hiring friends, I've always had good luck. I love working with my friends. So you just treat them with respect. That's a big part of it.
Yeah, I always say you hire for attitude, right? And then you train their skills. And then as they perform and you work with them every day for a year, then they become your friends, right? But if you're starting from ground zero with them as your best friend and they don't know anything about real estate, like definitely tread lightly, because it's more expensive to bring on a wrong hire than it is to just interview a couple more people, That was just a little quick thing on hiring. So you have 6 team members now, right?
Yes.
Damn. All right. So let's bridge that gap then from you hired a lead manager, you brought on acquisitions manager. So now your time, you bought back a lot of time with just those 2 hires. At that point, you started using InvestorFuse. So what were the next 3 hires?
Then we had a dispositions manager. So when we get a deal under contract, he starts marketing it right away, takes all the buyer calls, and works everything from the time that contract's signed to the time we got money in the bank. That's his job.
Nice.
Then additionally, we have a full-time inside sales guy, and his full-time job is actually taking inbound calls from sellers. We do voicemail blast, and we can literally make the phone melt with our voicemail blast. So he's sitting in the pocket all day fielding those calls and converting those prospects into appointments, or sometimes he can close them over the phone. So that's his full-time job. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and he's a new hire. We're still getting him ramped up right away, but really excited to get him fully ramped, and think it'll have a big impact on the bottom line.
What's the difference between inside sales and the lead manager?
So the leads manager is strictly taking calls from our direct mail pieces and the leads that come in from our website.
Okay.
Our inside sales manager, he's a little bit more experienced when it comes to real estate and also sales. So he can talk to those those sellers and convert them. They're not as warm of a lead when they come into him. So he does a bit. Yeah.
So the lead manager pre-qualifies all the inbound, and then he'll come in and like build rapport, set the appointment, etc.
No, he's got his own book of business, and his book of business revolves around, we'll get a list of, 10,000 vacant properties and voicemail blast them all. Say, hey, saw your property. It didn't look like anybody was living in it. I'm looking to buy property in that area. Give me a call if you're looking to sell it. And then we'll let that voicemail blast go out, and then his phone will just melt for hours.
So he's doing more of the proactive outreach, prospecting type of marketing. And
correct.
Then the lead manager is just taking in all the inbound marketing.
Correct.
How do you get the phone numbers for your inside salesperson?
We'll pull a list and then skip trace. So we'll get a list from either Kent System or, listsource.com. It varies. We use different list providers, and then we'll send it off to the skip tracer. We use datafinder.com. It's a really good resource. It's another resource I got at a boardroom.
Nice.
Yeah, it's been killer. And we'll drop that into Dialer Central, and then just hit go. And you pre-record a voicemail kind of like you do on some of the other ones, and that's how you send out the voice blast.
Oh, you don't use the Investor Fuse voice blast? Well, I guess because you would have to make a separate list of leads.
Correct. Yeah, exactly. You have to make a separate list. And then my dispositions manager, he's also a licensed broker. So he already had it for his brokerage and everything. So it worked out.
Nice.
He's paying like a big annual subscription for it.
So then I guess when those leads come back in, when they call into Investor Fuse, you can follow up with them at a later point using the Investor Fuse voice blast, like maybe for all the dead leads and all that.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's something that I'm glad you mentioned that, because I didn't even thought of that. So I think
totally make use of that.
Yeah.
We recommend using it on deal dispositions. So you just send it to your buyer, like a new deal to your buyers list, just record a quick audio file, send that out. And then for dead lead, to re-engage them like every 6 months, you can just send all of your dead leads like a quick, hey, we're still buying houses type message.
Yeah, I like that.
It's a good tip because they already called you, so it's not a complete waste of time to follow up with them.
Mm-hmm.
So then you hire 2 more people. So let's keep going to now. So you kind of slowly scaled it up, or did you have when was your first 6-figure month?
June. So
hell yeah.
Now, yeah. Mm-hmm. So
congrats, man. Damn.
Yeah, we're on pace for another one this month. So we're super excited about that.
Okay. So was it just like incremental month after month? You just started closing more deals, or the deals got fatter, or how did you scale it?
Kind of a combination of both. We definitely had more deals Q2 than any other month we had. And then we also had a couple big pops as well that, really helped out. We did one wholesale deal for $52,000, and yeah, so that was nice.
All in Austin area?
We do Austin and San Antonio. Our next, we just hired a full-time bandit sign person too. They're out 5 days a week putting up bandit signs, and they track them through an app called Simple Crew. It geopins all the signs.
Hell yeah. That's my buddy's app.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Dude, we love it. We use it. I use it every night. So I wake
That's
up.
awesome.
I'm like, oh, cool. Here's all the places.
I'm going to tell them that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
And so that's been going real well. We do, 500 signs a week. And then right now, in terms of where we're at, in terms of strategic hires, I'll probably get another leads manager to fill in on the weekends. Right now that kind of falls back on me. So, in order to buy back some of my weekend time, I'll get another leads manager to get some additional bandwidth there. And then we'll kind of reevaluate and see what we need next. I mean, with our inside sales position, I could see that scaling out where we need another one of those, and continue to grow that division.
Do you have an office?
No, we're all remote right now. So
tight.
Yeah, I kind of like it that way.
Isn't that amazing? Yeah, it's just amazing that you can do it.
I've thought about the office, but I'm like, I kind of like being remote. So,
tell us a little bit about the current marketing you're doing, and are you pulling a lot of deals from those bandit signs? I'm sure people are trying to hear about that, because people are always like flipping coins about if they should do bandit signs or not.
Yeah, I mean, that's been killing it right now. Pay-per-click and direct mail is extremely crowded, marketing medium, right? Everybody's doing direct mail. Everybody's doing PPC. What are the areas where there's less competition? And for our market, it's bandit signs. Most people are too lazy or too scared to go out and put up signs. So we'll take full advantage of that.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Dude.
And
that's it. That's the secret. You just do what the other investors aren't doing.
We get more calls from those than anything else. So,
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's sick. So let's talk about, you're still pulling deals from direct mail and online, just not as much.
Correct. And yeah, I mean, the cost per lead on direct mail and pay-per-click, definitely in where I am in Central Texas, and I know talking to other investors around the country, is just, it's steadily increasing. And I'm sure it'll go back down when there's a market correction and everything, but right now, lead cost is, steadily on the rise for those two.
Totally. And the only way you can really compete in the direct mail or inbound space is through follow-up, right? And how good how good you are at nurturing the leads and how good you are at actively staying on top of them.
Yeah. I mean, before, I was doing investor feud, I was about to hire a full-time follow-up person because I knew there was a lot of missed opportunities slipping through the cracks. And so investor feud is very helpful in staying in front of those leads and putting that whole follow-up system on autopilot. Now, we still have our leads manager reach out and put a phone call in regardless on top of the follow-up system, but we get text backs and calls back all the time from our follow-up sequence. People like, yeah, let's, sorry, I've been busy, or whatever the excuse is, but can you come out and see the house?
Yeah.
We probably get another 1 to 2 appointments a week just from follow-up sequence.
You get 1 to 2 appointments a week just from those automated follow-ups?
Yeah.
So actually, would you mind doing a screen share for those that are listening that kind of want to see how you got things set up?
Yeah, what do you want me to put on Claudio?
Yeah, it'd be cool to kind of see just the screenshot of your.
Yeah, hang on 1 sec.
Okay. And then I know you had one deal from the follow-up sequence that you made like $64K on or something like that.
Yeah, that was shortly after that flip to freedom. I think it was like the first week we enabled follow-up sequence, and I was like, oh, this is sick.
Yeah, give us a little tour and show us like how your team uses it. And if you want to show us that 64K deal too, just to inspire some people, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I'm not as organized as putting everything all the way through my transactions tab as I need to be.
Sure.
But I'll show you kind of the meat and potatoes of how we use investor views and why it's been so powerful for us. So you see, all leads that came in today, we get them from all over the country. So anybody listening right now, if you guys want leads and you want a JV on them, message me because we're throwing a lot of these away.
Dude, let's put this up on the HQ group. See if we can put some deals together.
Yeah, absolutely. So here's one that came in, I think this morning. Let me pull this up. My VA, she's actually really good. She's got some good templates that she uses to get all the information I need on here. She'll actually put it in the properties tab. So if you click on a property, she'll give me all the information I need right here. And she does a great job at filling in all the fields we have on it for her. If anybody's VA right now, this is one thing that I have her do that really helps us out. I have her find go on Zillow, go on Realtor.com, go on Redfin, get all their prices and average it out for me. Tell me what it's going to be, 70% cash. If I'm going to buy it, creative financing, tell me what that's going to be. That saves me probably 5 minutes on every lead. So.
Do you find that number to be pretty accurate? Do you think those services are getting a little more accurate?
Yeah, I always go back and check it. I mean, Redfin's the best. The Zestimate, they even admit to being 10% off. Mm-hmm. So it just gives you a ballpark. Before I actually go on the appointment, I'll pull up, Redfin on my phone and look at the sold comps a little bit more. But this lets me know if I'm at least in the ballpark.
Yeah, and I like that you use median instead of mean. Can you describe that math real quick?
I don't know. That's not my math, so
okay.
I'm not one to be given a math.
Yeah, no, none of us are.
Yeah.
So that's cool. So she does that initial due diligence. So at this point, she took the call. She did all the due diligence, and then it shows up as a task. Who's the next person to kind of touch these?
So this will go to Logan. So the appointment's been set on this for tomorrow. So
look at the email. Her email is I love cheese 512. That's going to be a deal.
I think it is. I think I just got a text about some good news on that.
Yeah, you're gonna get some cheddar off that one.
That's right.
That's funny.
So, yeah. And then Logan, he'll get this. My leads manager, she goes ahead and books the appointment through here. It goes right into his Google Calendar. And, from there, he has everything he needs right in his, right in his phone to go out and
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Does he use the mobile app to input data after the fact?
We use the mobile app more than we use the desktop.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So I would
good
say
news, by the way, dude. They actually are about to release like drastic improvements to the mobile app.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, it's going to make it a lot easier. That's cool though. So you guys are just in the field, not spending too much time on the computer, which is good. I always like to say like investors should be doing less computer time and more like mobile in the field work.
Yeah. I can't even remember the last time I was actually on here like this, to be candid with you. Like I said, I'm usually always on my phone. So I'm glad they're doing some improvements there.
Hear that, fusers? Get off the laptop, use your phone more. However, if you're an in-house salesperson, then it makes sense to use your laptop, obviously. Or if you're, limiting yourself to 30 minutes of email every day, it's easier to type on your laptop than it is to like email on your phone. But yeah, I challenge you to spend less time on your laptop and more time in front of sellers at houses.
That's right. That's right.
It's more revenue generating tasks than that.
So that's really our bread and butter. We'll move things through and put them in the transactions tab as well. We've got some other systems that we use to hand over to our dispositions manager that just work right now. I want to get everything. My goal is to have everything going exclusively through InvestorFuse, but that's a work in progress. So you're trying to coordinate 6 team members all on the same page at the same time. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time to get everybody there, but we're heading in that.
Yeah, if you ever need a training session, you know who to talk to. We get your whole team on that call and just figure out the process.
That's right. Yeah, no, I'm probably going to take you up on that. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. How much are you spending on marketing right now?
We probably do. Let's see. We spent $3,900 last week, so we're spending probably $12 to $16K on marketing a month.
Yeah, I'll spend $16K any day if I'm making 6 figures off from that. And that's how important marketing is, guys. Like, what would you say, Nick, this is the minimum that you should be spending on marketing if you expect to get a deal within the next 3 months?
Right now, if you're in a hot market, I would just say in general, you need to be willing to drop at least 5 Gs. You may get a deal, sooner than that, especially with like Dan saying, and you follow up with people. But if you're just getting started, go hard. Yeah.
Yeah. Too many people I talk to are only spending like $1,000 a month, which, is a lot for people that are just starting out because it comes out to like $12,000 a year. Right. But you gotta get those leads coming in, and leads are either going to cost you in time or dollars. So,
right. That was one thing Sean Terry said to me when I was with him and Kent, and I showed him my marketing last year, and I was like, yeah, I spent $57,000 last year on marketing, and I was kind of like thinking he was going to be like, yeah, that's pretty good. And the first thing he said was, hold on, why did you only spend $57,000 in marketing last year? And he just ripped me for that. So it's huge. The amount you get in, you get out what you put into it.
Yeah. It's like mining for gold, man. You're either going to be like out there just hammering away, digging for gold, or you're going to pay someone else to do it, right? You got to mine. It takes time, effort, and money to mine for those little gold pieces. But then you're not done, right? Once you have the gold pieces, then you need to, convert it into cash. So let's talk a little bit now, like what happens when you sell it. If we want to just get into the disposition side of things, any lessons you could share when it comes to that, like monetizing, deal strategy? Are you guys just doing like straight cash offers, or are you guys getting creative? So you can kind of touch on that.
Yeah, we do it all. So, if you're just going 70% cash, out here, especially if you're in a hot market, you're going to get smoked all day long by other investors and realtors. The chances you're going to convert just using the 70% ARV method, it's very flawed. And if you're in a hot market, you need to be a little bit more aggressive than just giving them 70%. In Austin, if I get a deal that comes in Austin, we can still wholesale a deal at like 78, sometimes 80%. That's how, and we'll have flippers buying from us for, 80, 85, sometimes 90%. It just depends on the neighborhood. So you got to know your market. Additionally, use all the tools in your tool belt, right? If you're just going to use cash, you're leaving a lot of deals on the table. Like those deals that don't have equity or, you can do creative financing on. Know all your different ways to monetize a lead. We also do lease purchase as well, which has been very valuable for us because a lot of people in Texas don't think you can do lease purchase. You can do lease purchase in Texas. You just got to have the right paperwork to do it. So that's been extremely beneficial. And then again, we're also a licensed brokerage. So if all those options don't work, we can give them a listing agreement. So if somebody wants to sell a house, no matter what they want to do, we have some sort of way to help them. And being able to find the right solution for the seller is critical. One tool isn't just gonna convert all the leads. So
exactly.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of newer wholesalers expect that every deal is just going to be a straight cash offer deal, when that's far from the truth. Especially as it gets competitive, the more creative you are in helping them transact or get out of that property, the better you are at solving these people's problems, the better investor you're going to be compared to someone else. Like, you're just solving problems, right? Are you doing any like short sale or foreclosure stuff? They owe too much.
We don't do short sales just because they take so long. Like we will do short sales if the spread's really big, but we try to steer away from them just because they take a long time.
Yeah.
No, our main way of monetizing these deals is still through cash and creative financing. And then we also get a lot of lease options and listing agreements as well.
Tight. Are you a follower of the Joe McCall lease options strategy? Wholesaling lease options?
Absolutely. I just went through his entire course. We digested that. We literally binged watched it in 2 days, and then went out and started locking up lease option deals. So that was
that's crazy.
That was huge for us because lease option, you can pretty much give the seller what they want. So if they have $100,000 house, you can pay pretty close to $100,000, especially in a hot market, and still make money. And
if they're willing to lease it out for a couple months or to a year.
Right. And they walk away making more than they would if they were to sell with a realtor. So it's a very attractive option for a lot of sellers to go with that.
Yeah. So, dude, what's next? $1 million months?
That's it. Yeah. They say if you're not on Forbes, keep working. So, we've definitely progressed, but we're not where we need to be yet. So we're just going to keep our head down, keep working, and see what we can do to try to take it as far as we can take it.
Do you have specific goals and timelines set?
Yeah, I'd like to get to $250K a month by end of year. So that's a strong goal of mine right now. And the team, we got a lot of KPIs we're following to get us there. So as long as we hit our KPIs, we'll be there. And then,
do you have a KPI for a deal or cost per deal?
Yeah. So I analyze that every quarter. After I do my KPIs weekly, I'll look at what my cost per deal was for the quarter. It's around 2,000 for us here in Austin, San Antonio area. And, from what I'm hearing and other investors in the country, that's Yeah, it's still pretty late. A lot of people are paying up to $5,000 a lead, like I was saying earlier. So, we just have had, got a really good team that, does a great job at building rapport and converting these people. And then additionally, we've got systems like Investor Fuse that follow up with people. So that helps keep our cost per deal down.
Yep. So one real quick question, because I know people are probably wondering how you found people that you did that are rock stars. Could you just give us a quick story about how you found those people?
Yeah. So, just to recap, Logan, he was actually the first person I met in Austin, and he owned a gym. I walked into the gym, and he greeted me, gave me a T-shirt, and let me work out that day, and we just kind of hit it off. And then, we built a really strong friendship after that. He came on about a year ago. My dispositions manager, I met him down in my amenities lounge. I was playing pool, and he came over with a beer in his hand and was like, "Hey, you guys mind if I get in on the next game?" And then he's like, "Yeah, you guys do real estate, so do I." And you know Sean Terry, and we kind of just hit it off from there.
No way.
He was house sitting for somebody that was in my building. He lives there in San Diego right now. So he's in San Diego. We're here in Austin, and that's how I met him. And he's been a rock star. That's just killer. He's 31 years old, very entrepreneurial, very smart. So he's been huge asset to the team. My inside salesperson, he was actually my intern when I was working at Indeed. So he interned underneath me, and I knew he was hungry from the very beginning. I saw the way that he would help me with my workload at Indeed, and at the same time, he was asking me about real estate. He was very interested in that even when he was my intern. So he, I let him watch all the Sean Terry videos and helped him get his first mail campaign out, helped him get his first deal. And he was working at Indeed. He got hired full time, and he's like, "Dude, I hate this stuff at Indeed." He's like, "Can I please, is there anything, And I was like, "Yeah, man, actually, I'm working on a position right now. You'll be the first person that, I'll come out and reach out to." And I actually, he didn't say anything to me, but once I had that position finalized, I reached out to him. And it was just really kind of serendipitous timing on, where he was with his career Indeed and where he's trying to go like personally and professionally. So it worked out good. Yeah. Our leads managers, they come from Ibis. Ibis has been great. They're, if anybody's looking for a leads manager, I'd recommend them. It's affordable. She is in the Philippines, but she builds rapport with people great here in America. She doesn't have like a very thick accent at all. Her accent's very Americanized. We had to interview 5 of them to get the right one. So if you consider using Ibis, you might have to interview a few, but it's like a year now.
I should say, since we have the service now that basically ties into Ibis, the live answer service, we actually have like a pool of Ibis virtual assistants that are doing just that first contact task. So they're like the live answering service that you can get a la carte. Right now, the doors are closed, but I think when this is released, it'll be back open. A la carte is just an extra $500 per month, and you can have this lead manager take all your inbound calls and then make all missed call follow-up attempts. They'll follow up to 6 times before just putting them on a sequence. So that takes such a huge amount of time off your plate. If you're doing a lot of inbound marketing and you're doing it all yourself, like that, the pain of having to do that is not worth it. So we just put this system together using, Rob's VAs. And like you said, they're trained in how to talk to sellers, which is such a benefit over all of the other answering services that people use right now, like PatLive. Not the best for real estate, where you're spending all this money on leads and some random person's talking to them. So I definitely recommend Ibis if you're looking for a full-time VA to do other stuff as well. And then you can check out our answering service. If you go to investorfuse.com/plus, you can see more information about that. People have objections about the accent, and honestly, Filipinos sound like Americans. Like the culture there is very Americanized. Like I went there last year to visit our team, the Investor Fuse tech support team, and they're all, you know, wearing Adidas, and they're just like Americans, like, and they talk just like us, and they like hamburgers just like us. So it's just like it's interesting that we're like have the same values, but separated by so much distance. So yeah, cool. But that was a useful breakdown of how you kind of formed your team. And it's funny that a lot of it was just serendipity. I think people have to realize that, one, you're not going to be able to scale your business without a team. And two, you're not going to be able to have a team unless you develop a really keen eye for talent. Even out in public, like you were just playing pool, yet you still hit it off with this guy, and you could tell he was a sharp guy, a hustler, you know, has some real estate experience. So just like going on about your day and having that lens on to see people in terms of talent, I think is a huge entrepreneurial asset if you can do that. Because a lot of the people that you hire might be just that, people that you meet. You know, could be your personal trainer is a really personal person, and you need someone like that to go on your appointments with, etc. Like people you meet in your life. Don't think that everyone that you're going to hire is going to come from like a job ad or a recruiter. The people that you interact with day to day is the best judge of character, you know? So don't want to take up any more of your time, man. You have another 150K to make this month to hit your mark. So thank you so much for your time joining us and kind of just sharing a little bit about your story. It's definitely crazy that you can do this business and go from like, you know, being a personal trainer 3 years ago to closing 6-figure months. Like that is admirable. Do you have any parting words for those out there that are at that phase where they might have done their first deal or they're about to close their first deal, but they see the light at the end of the tunnel and they want to just keep progressing and scaling up what they need to be focusing on?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of transferable to any business, but just don't quit, right? So every single day, just put one foot in front of the other, and no matter, you're going to get punched in the mouth so many times in this business. Like if you're not getting punched in the mouth at least, you know, a few times a week, then you're probably not doing something right. So expect to, you know, to take some bumps, but continue to progress forward and don't give up. No, and I mean, I still haven't arrived, right? Like I'm still hitting, you know, bumps in the road every single day. Like I'm still getting, you know, knocked down and getting back up. So you just got to have that muscle to just keep going and have some grit to get through, you know, the beginning of starting a business. And I think that's really probably the best thing that I've done. It's just every time I fall, get back up.
Hell yeah, man. Respect. If you have if people have any extra questions or want to just hit you up, do you have a best way to contact you?
Yeah, go ahead and message me. My website is wantosellnow.com. So you can get a hold of me via email at perry@wantosellnow.com, and glad to correspond with you that way. Yeah. So that's probably the best way to reach out.
Awesome. So kudos to you for taking that leap of faith and just crushing it this year. And yeah, we'll talk soon, man. Thanks again for your time, and peace out, Investor Fuse community.
See you.
The Wolf of Austin, Texas. We'll get you on that Forbes list soon.
Yes,
That's
sir.
right.
Tell Logan we said what's up.
Hell yeah, we'll do.
All right, guys. See you.
All right. Bye.